got that juice. You got the juice. You got the juice. You got that power. Power to the people. All power to the people. Power's in the people. In the streets mobbing. Good over evil.
Grand Rising family, welcome back, welcome to Healing for the Culture. I am yours truly, Ivory Shields, and this is where we have uncomfortable conversations and teach you the tools that you did not learn in school. Welcome back, family. Happy Sunday. You are tuned in to iHeartRadio's ATLTalks.com, and this is episode 17? Holy cow. Episode 17, y'all. I'm excited. 17. That's 8. That's infinity. That's alchemy. That's what you put out there, you get back. Episode number 17. I cannot believe we have made it this far. Never would have made it. Y'all didn't know I could sing. I got a few skills. You know, I can hold a B flat or a C. Welcome back, y'all. I'm excited. I am always excited to be here, always to have amazing conversations, insightful conversations with people who have a story and people who've been through some things. And I'm excited to introduce my guest this afternoon, and I'll do that later in the show. First of all, I've got a shout out to my team who's in the building today. Miss Amber behind the camera. Hello. Welcome back.
Thank you.
You're welcome. How was your week?
It was good.
It was good. It was good. Captain Daryl.
Greetings.
Greetings. Grand afternoon. Flying this plane as he always does. The captain in the building. Shouts out to Dreamland. Last night they had their grand opening for the event center, and it was epic. It was a it was a good time. So much talent. Oh my goodness, so much talent. We had a young brother named Hemingway who performed. Man, shut it down. So make sure that y'all go over to @Dreamland on Instagram and look at some of the footage and follow the folks who performed last night. I mean, these brothers, these young men and women are really showing up and with so much talent. There's just so much talent here in Atlanta. Like, so much talent. So much so many people who are making moves and making big moves. Like, there were people in this building who have amazing businesses and so much amazing talent, y'all. So make sure, again, that you head on over to @Dreamland on Instagram and check them out. Beautiful event center over off of
Camp Creek. No.
Not Camp Creek.
National Highway.
Old National Highway. It's all redone. Beautiful, big, beautiful space. It has like a garage door that can be open.
Drive your car in there.
You can drive your car in there, so you can have a car show. Okay? You can have a whole video shoot with the car inside of there. So make sure you check them out because it's an amazing space. Like real talk, for real. So, family, again, I'm excited about today's show. My guest today is a licensed cosmetologist, celebrity barber, and I'll tell you how I got connected with this young man. My brother is his client. So, and my brother came to me and he's like, you should really have a conversation with Donato. I'm like, okay, cool. Let me hop on the phone. And I got on the phone with him, and this energy that this spiritual being having a human experience emits is just magnetic. That's really the best way I can describe it. such beautiful magnetic energy. And when I heard his story, I thought, wow, this is a story that needs to be told on a bigger platform. This is a story that people need to hear. So I had to have him on the show so that he can share his story, because I know that his journey and his story and how he was able to move through it, I know that it is going to help someone else. I know that it is going to inspire someone else. So, without further ado, family, please welcome to the show Master Cosmetologist, Celebrity Barber, Donato Smith.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, greetings, Ashe, brother. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling well. I'm feeling rested. I'm feeling, energetic. As you stated, I have an energy about myself, so I'm recharging at the very moment.
Excellent. Well, thank you for being a part of the show today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.
It's an honor.
Of course, and the original plan was to have you inside of the studio, which I think would have been fantastic, because like I said, you have such great energy, and I like to surround myself with people who have great energy. But you're on the West Coast, so tell us what you're doing on the West Coast.
Oh, yes, ma'am. As well as I would love to be there, I do want to go on record and say I would love to be there. That was my intention, but definitely had to. There was a scheduled trip that I had planned to actually recharge, to come out here to Vegas and just do some. It's a light run, due to COVID and whatnot. There's not much that's open at the very moment, but Vegas itself is still a sight to see. So, and it's a recharge moment for me. I'm learning how to self-care.
Yes.
And learn my recharge moment. At least once a month or every other month. Try to be gone out of Atlanta from my regular surroundings.
Okay, I love it. Hashtag self-care, family. That is definitely one of the ways you can practice and implement self-care. Traveling, getting away from your familiar environment, and just and when you do that, unplug.
Yes. Yes, unplug completely too.
Completely unplug.
Completely.
Absolutely. Well, tell everybody who you are and what you do.
Okay, well, as you stated, I am Donato, Donato, Donato Smith. I am a licensed cosmetology that started out as a barber and eventually transitioned into the mind state that, hey, I want to know all hair, not just the men's side of it or just the actual clipper cutting side of it. I want to know all of it. So I actually decided to embark upon my career, my cosmetology career, go to school, enroll in school, and do something outside of my comfort zone. Because I had been barbering unlicensed for a number of years, and finally decided to go get licensed, and said, okay, I'm not going to go for something I've really pretty much got an idea of. I want to go and do something or study on something I really have less of a perspective on. So cosmetology was that.
That's cool. So you wanted to challenge yourself more.
Yes, most definitely. And my whole idea was to actually open up my own salon, barber space, unisex space where I would be able to service everyone. And I wanted to know what everything was supposed to look like when it walked out of the door, from the fade to the curls.
Okay.
So that was my whole drive behind it as well.
Okay, that's cool. Most people don't know this about me, but I used to be a hairstylist.
Oh, really?
Yeah, back in the day, I started off in the family doing like my cousin's hair and my aunt's hair. I was the family hairstylist. I was the kitchen beautician back in the day of my family. Yeah, I was the kitchen beautician for my family back in the day. And after high school, when I graduated from high school, I took on a full-time job as a shampoo assistant. and did that for 3 years while I was in college, and then ended up doing it on my own, working under an apprentice license.
Okay.
So I never did go to school for hair. I was just going to get my, because there's a couple of ways you can get a license. Well, back in the day when I was doing it, which was like, like 20, almost 20 years ago. Got to be more careful. I can't believe it. But yeah, you could get so many hours and working under an apprentice license, and then go sit for the board and get your license. Yeah. So yours truly, y'all, used to be a hairstylist back in the day. Now,
I just want to shout out the fact that you said shampoo assistant too.
Yeah.
Yeah. People say washing hair these days. It gets up under my skin.
Right.
Shampoo.
Most hairstylists, yes, they cringe when they say when people say wash my hair. But yeah, I learned that. Yeah, working with the stylist who I was with, because she would correct me all the time. You're shampooing hair. You don't wash hair.
Right.
So,
it's a delicate and intentional situation. You wash your car, you wash your clothes.
All right, now you better go on and school us real quick. Go on and school us. So you kind of followed in the footsteps of your mom, because your mom was a barber, right?
Yes, my mother was a cosmetologist and a barber.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that she struggled with some health issues.
Right, she definitely did. So with her being a barber, cosmetologist, she was my first barber, the primary caregiver of my faith, as I like to say. And she ended up, as I was growing, she dealt with a diagnosis of PKD, which is polycystic kidney disease. So with that, basically kidney failure, she ended up having to start going to dialysis treatment weekly. There were certain days that she had to attend. So over the years, especially initially, she was not able to continue to cut my hair and my younger brother's hair at the time. So because standing became a task for her, or holding the clippers also became a task. So it kind of just dwindled out. She would actually start taking us to barbers, or also just, because we dealt with, we struggled a lot. So even getting us to a barbershop was a struggle sometimes financially for my mom. So I know as I got older, I just wanted to, my thing was I wanted to actually stay looking good, because I wanted the female attention. I was like, I got to look good for the girl. So, hey, Mom, I know you can't do this right now, but, I don't worry about it. I'll take matters into my own hands. So, and it was two things that she actually stopped doing a lot of, which she did cooking and actually cutting our hair, like I stated. And when she stopped cutting our hair, I started cutting my own hair. My younger brother, he's actually a chef. She stopped cooking, so he became a chef. He was like, I want to eat. I'm like, I can cut my hair and eat. That's the girl's house. She'll feed. So, we took our two paths, and it worked out for the best.
Oh, wow. So do you think, that I think that definitely had some bearing on, or it influenced how you show up now today in your relationships. And I would even peel that back another layer and say how you show up in your relationships with women.
Oh, no. I'm getting feedback.
Yeah, we're working on the sound a little bit, y'all. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so with my relationships with women, I show up in relationships more so in the space of service. I come in wanting to serve, or immediately give. Like that, I never come to take. There are some people who may beg to differ. They both beg to differ that he's come to take. But because we've not worked out, doesn't mean I took anything from him. But I can wholeheartedly understand where that that misconception or just that emotional misconception can come from where you think I took from you because I was always a giver of myself.
So you think, but do you think that your relationship with your mom and how you had to help her at such a young age and see her going through her own struggles with her diagnosis and her health struggles, do you think that had played a role in how you show up in your relationships?
Oh yeah, most definitely. My heart goes out to a woman, especially a single mom, who I see doing her best to take care of her situation and manage her situation.
Okay.
I do my best to, especially if I have an interest in you. It starts with a physical interest, and I go to the emotional interest of being invested in what you have going on with your own personal life. So I see your space where I can help, and I do get it. I don't mind it. It's not a problem to me, especially when I feel like it's appreciated and even reciprocated in some way, form, or fashion.
Quick question for you. Are you on a speakerphone?
Yes.
Yeah. Can you, is it possible to not be on the speaker? Because people are saying that they're having a hard time hearing you.
Okay. How about now?
Okay. I think it'll be better.
Okay, well, because I'm still getting feedback on my end, too.
Are you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
We were doing good at first.
Okay. All right, y'all. So sorry for those technical issues, family. Y'all, thank y'all for being patient with us. We appreciate it. So hopefully moving forward, y'all can hear us loud and clear, because y'all don't want to miss none of this good stuff we're about to get into. I think, and the reason I keep going to talking about or asking you about how you were taking care of your mom and how that influences how you show up in relationships. I think that there's a certain amount of value in having that experience at a young age, when young boys are put in a situation where they do have to sort of, I don't want to say, I don't like to use the word man up. I don't like to use that because I think that's so inappropriate. I think it's a balance. You can't put everything on boys, but
Right.
I think being in a situation where you had to help your mom, and I know your mom sounds like she was a pretty tough lady, so she wasn't letting you do everything for her, but there were a lot of things where you had to step in and sort of help her out, and do things for yourself to kind of keep the ship afloat.
Right.
I think there's value in that.
Yes, most definitely, because I know she did state to me when my brother was born, because we were a year apart, when my brother was born, she stated that I actually was a big help to her, even before the diagnosis, well, years before the diagnosis. But she said I helped my brother, she's like, I made life easy for her, which I didn't know, which I do think is very important for us to speak things into our children's lives and let them know about even their earlier years, the things that they can't even recall on their own. But because she said that to me, she said I made life for her easier by, helping my brother. She's like, my brother, I helped my brother with potty. I potty trained my brother basically, helping tie his shoes or learning to tie his shoes or riding bikes, do certain things that, that I had an understanding of that I was able to, pass down to my brother, that helped my mom, and I didn't even know about it, but when she spoke that into me, it was actually a space where I was able to adopt the idea, which I was actually rejecting, to adopt the idea of being a teacher. So because my mother spoke that into me and said, oh yeah, you taught your brother everything, I'm like, I did not know that, because I was walking around thinking I could never be a teacher, and I taught my brother, so I might not be able to teach by my perspective or my understanding of what I know a teacher can be, but there is some level of teaching that I can do.
Wow. And I'm so happy that you shared that with us. And I think that that's something that a lot of people can take away from this, especially with us having a lot of single parents, a lot of single mothers who are raising children. Make sure that you let your children know that you appreciate them. You appreciate their help. My mother didn't tell me that. You know, I wish she would have. I know the truth now. I know that I had a huge role in raising my younger brother. But to actually hear her verbalize that would have done a lot of good for me.
Right. I'm telling you, I know how it does, how it helped me, so I know how it can help anyone.
Yeah.
Because, God makes no mistakes with us. I wholeheartedly believe. So I believe in our earlier spaces, we come in with things that are tools as well. We come in equipped with certain things that are beneficial to life itself. Like, you start to manage it differently as you get older, but you still come in with something. You bring something to the table as soon as you get here, whether you know it or not.
Exactly, for sure. For sure. And to have your parent point that out for you.
Mm-hmm. And affirm it.
And affirm it, yes. It's validating.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, I don't care who you are, how much money you have, how beautiful you are, how handsome you are, how fine you are, how broke you are, how whatever you are, everyone wants to be validated.
Validated. Yeah.
Every one of us. Whether it's by a parent, a partner, whatever. We all want to be validated. So I think that there's tremendous value in that, family.
Mm-hmm. And then if you do it in an earlier space, like I say, coming from a mother, father, then you don't lean, because we yearn for that and we don't even understand it. We start to accept it from places where, it's not genuine, or it's actually, it shouldn't be taken from anyway.
Say that.
So,
yes,
like,
indeed.
Your body, your inner spirit is yearning for reaffirmation or affirmation, and then you'll just start taking it. As soon as you hear it, as soon as you if it moves you a little bit, you'll just continue to go back to it.
Absolutely. You done opened up Pandora's box, y'all. We're gonna take a break, y'all. Family, keep it locked. You are listening to iHeartRadio's ATLTalks.com. Healing for the Culture with Ivory Shields. We'll be right back, family. Welcome back, family. You are listening to Healing for the Culture with Ivory Shields, and I am on with my guest today, Mr. Donato Smith, celebrity barber and teacher. Y'all, dropping some gems on us today and sharing his story of his childhood trauma and things that he's gone through, and how he is using that to fuel his mission to inspire others, and in particular folks who are sitting in his chair. Because let me tell y'all something about it, even in my own experience being a hairstylist, we are therapists.
Yeah.
Hairstylists are therapists, honey. Those were hairstylists were black communities. We were the first therapists for people, because when you sit in people's chair, first of all, and someone is in your head, in your crown chakra. And if y'all don't know about the chakras, y'all know I talk about chakras all the time, okay, y'all? So just do a little Google research, do a little Google search of what the crown chakra is, okay? If this is going over your heads. But your crown chakra is that part of you that connects with spirit. It's that part of you that connects with a higher power. And so when you have someone who is in that space, in your hair, in your head, you open yourself up to that person. Okay? And so that's why I've always said, I don't go to just any hairstylist, because I understand if someone is in your head, you are inviting them into a very sacred space. And so, so understand that hairstylists are definitely therapists, especially back in the day. Now, they do things a little different now. Hairstylists, a lot of people whatever. Let me not get sidetracked.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
but
Don't step on toes now.
exactly. Let me dial it back a little bit. But so yeah, you've been using your your line of work to teach people and reach people and share your story to encourage and inspire people. And so before we went to break, I wanted to, I touched on this, and I want to talk about what it was like meeting your biological father for the first time. So let me back up. You grew up believing that one man was your father. Tell us about that.
Yeah. Now, so up until the time I was 16, 15 to 16, I was, calling and believing that someone was my father. And around that, like 15 or 16, my mother, she just kind of, I could tell it was just like a go for it type of moment for her because she would call me into her room. It wasn't too much of an introduction. She didn't soften me before the blow. But she just said, hey, you want to meet your real father? It caught me by surprise, And I kind of smiled a little bit. I'm like, sure, yeah. Because, just a little backstory on that. For me personally, I used to get in trouble as a child. I don't know if I was the only person that felt like this. I would get in trouble as a child by my mom and my father. And as soon as I go back and retreat to my own quarters, I'd be like, hey, you know what? I can't wait for my real parents to come get me. One day, my real mom will come get me, and my real dad will come get me, and I'm out of here. You know what I mean? So when my mom called me in there, that's just something I said to my kids myself as a child.
Right.
I didn't want to deal with consequences.
Right. Yeah.
So when she said that, it was like, wow, hey, listen, dreams come true. Dreams do come true. It happens. Listen, I got a real daddy on the way.
Right.
So my mom actually, like I said, she contacted him, and he actually ended up coming around and having a conversation with me at the time. And we spent a little bit of time together. I'd say a few months at that time when I was 16. And after that it just fell off. For what reason I don't know. Why he just continued the line, or the relationship building at that point in time. I don't know. It's never has expressed it. It was just kind of a complete disappearance. And as I got older, I did reach out to him again. But just to answer the question, like it was definitely a shock. I wasn't too bit or messed up by the truth because I don't know. Like I said, I don't know. I'm okay with new beginnings at some point in time. It was a new relationship, something. It just didn't bother me. I wasn't mad at my mom. I was just like, oh my God, you're a liar or anything like that. I'm like, okay, let's see where this goes. I mean, I guess that was in part due to my upbringing of struggle. Like, we moved and we actually ended up staying and, sleeping on people's floors. We actually, you didn't know what was going to happen. I know I would get out of school someday and come home and my mom was picking us up from school in the U-Haul. It was like, oh, it's time to move again.
Oh, wow.
So it was like, okay, well. And when she brought that information to me, I guess it was like, hey, okay, time to move again.
Wow. Wow. That resiliency.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Wow. That's such an interesting observation. Thank you for sharing it with us.
Oh, most definitely.
So did you, when you were going to reach out to before you reached out to your father, your biological father, did you have any expectations of what you thought this was going to be like? Did you think in your mind like, wow, I'm going to meet him and everything's going to be great and it's just going to be, it's going to be, like you said, a new beginning and everything's going to be wonderful?
Now, are you, like, when I say I reached out to him, that was later on, I was 21 at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So are you speaking about that time?
Well, either one, yeah.
Either one. Now, when my mom introduced me to the idea of, biological father, I was like, okay, great. This should be, very interesting. Didn't really have an expectation. I didn't know how to have expectations.
Oh,
At that
wow.
point in time,
Wow.
I didn't know how to have expectations.
Thank you for that. That's a great observation. And thank you for sharing that. I think a lot of people can relate to that.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know how to have expectations.
Right. And that's, I mean, you know, like I say, I don't know if that was because of how I grew up with, you know, not, I don't even know how long we staying in this house, you know. So, or you know, where we going next? I lived all over Atlanta, you know, from the east to the west, north to the south. I stayed all over Atlanta and went to a few different, you know, educational institutions. So I just didn't know how to have an expectation. It was just like, hey, I'm along for the ride.
Ah. Wow. Okay. Okay, so you just kind of, so you've developed this ability to just kind of go with the flow.
Go with
And
and yes, and that's actually one of the things that my mother actually thanked God for about me and my brother. She said, I just thank God that you and your brother were never kids to say, oh, Mom, where to next? Again? Or she said, y'all always roll with the punches. And it made it so much easier in the struggle because we just rolled with the punches and we made the best out of it. Because she said, she, you know, as a mother, single mother, especially being a provider and it's an all-around caregiver for every area of our lives.
Yeah.
You know, she said she was, you know, in a place of turmoil one day while we were in the extended stay motel, which was one of the better portions. Like, I love the extended stay, but we were in the extended stay with her, and she said, she asked my brother and I, you know, hey, do y'all think we poor? You know, and, you know, we were like, my brother and I both replied, like, no, I don't think we poor. Oh, no, we don't see it that way. Yeah. I didn't care where I was. I was just, as long as I'm with my mom, because I know I'm getting all the love that I need from my mom. It didn't matter what I didn't have. You know, it was tough not having Jordans and the things that kids were clamoring over when you're going to school.
Right.
But as long as I had my mama's love, I don't care if we in the car for a 5.
Wow. Wow. It sounds like your mom did a phenomenal job at communicating with y'all and really showing you, not just telling you, but really kind of showing you that she cared.
Yeah, she did.
And I think that, yeah, no matter what the circumstances are, and I think a lot of us have been in a lot of situations with parents, you know, they were not the best circumstances. And our parents did what they thought was right in that moment. You know.
And I don't blame them. I understand that, you know, some people don't have the bandwidth to actually deal with the things that they don't know they're dealing with.
Yeah. Yes.
Managing emotions, you know, because, you know, they came from an era of shut up, don't talk back.
Yeah.
What I think of come from that era, you know, I can only imagine what they would breed, you know, internally. So.
Facts. Yes. And I like how you said, I say that a lot of times people don't have the bandwidth, you know, to... Yes, right. Do a Google search. Right. Do a Google search if you don't know what that means. Yeah, you know, people just don't have the emotional bandwidth, the mental bandwidth. People don't have the bandwidth to understand and process certain things. So that's a great observation. What was I going to say? I just really... And what stands out for me is just the difference between a parent who can make the best out of a not so great situation. And again, to Donato's point, not to point fingers or blame them, because getting to a point where you can have compassion and understand why people behave or respond the way that they do, including your parents, will help to give you a lot of peace of mind and understanding. And so to that point, I think understanding or recognizing, just kind of seeing the difference between how your mom was able to show up in that situation, in her circumstances, and still give love to her children. Yeah, and make them feel loved and make them feel appreciated and cared for, even when they were living in an extended stay hotel. There's something to be said for that.
Listen, we had been reduced. I'm sorry to cut you off now.
That's okay.
But it was like extended stay with caviar to us. You know
Wow.
what I mean? So,
Wow.
like my mom, we had been reduced to homeless shelter.
Wow.
But we didn't stay
Mhm.
because the only reason we did not stay in the homeless shelter was because they had told my mother they were going to have to split us up and put her with the women and my brother and I with the men.
Wow.
And she just wasn't with that idea. So, God made another way outside of that. But that's where we ended up having to get to.
Mhm.
So with all of that, she was still able to give whatever she had.
Mhm.
And I can't take nothing from my mom. My mom don't owe me nothing. You know what I mean? I don't care if 16 years. I have to leave this. I don't care what my mom does. I'm not saying that it was right, but I know I just have that same unconditional love. She taught me unconditional love.
Wow. Mhm.
But at the end of the day, I can't take anything from I can't take anything from my mom.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. She's a tough lady. She's something special. How's her health today? How's she doing today?
Oh, my mother is now the proud owner of a new kidney.
Yay! Yay!
There's a new Rolls Royce. New. Come on now.
So she did get her kidney transplant.
Yeah, she did get a kidney transplant, and she is, actively living now. She's
Beautiful.
definitely grateful for. She feels like a second opportunity in life.
Yay.
So God is amazing. And I've seen how he, if you continue, if you just keep going, there's a Bible verse that says, after you have suffered a little while, God of all grace shall establish you, restore you, and strengthen you. So, and I've seen that in my mother's life. I'm sorry for the listeners, I might have quoted that wrong, but that is,
Yeah, I get the
in
gist.
my mom's life, where she's been restored,
Right.
in more ways than one, physically, emotionally, financially. I've seen my mom be totally restored, so she's good now.
I love that. That is a blessing. Love it, love it, love it. I want to go back to meeting your father for the first time, and just what would you say to, or what kind of words of advice, encouragement, tools would you give to a younger man who is for the first time reaching out to his biological father?
Well, for me, I would say if you're going to reach out to a biological father,
For the
as
first
much
time.
context, if you're going to reach out to a biological father for the first time, it's something that's been on your heart to do. I would say as much context as you can get in on the situation and how it ended up at this point, or how the paternity situation even began. Get as much insight in on it as you can before addressing, because you don't know if you may go in and you're viewed an enemy or some kind of disruption from the get go. So you'll know how to go into the situation. Versus just say, hey, I'm here, it's me. Get as much, if possible, get as much insight in on it as you can. But if you can't, just be led. I'm a person that's led on a lot that I do. Try to be led on everything. And if anything, I know I'm led to say certain things or I'll feel in my spirit on how to move because I don't know the answers. And even you may run into people who don't have the answers either. But I believe I'm connected enough with the God I believe in to be led in which direction I need to go, what to say, and even how to manage the situation. Because that's pretty much what everything is, especially when you have the knowledge about your life and how it is going and how it will go. You are merely a manager of it.
Wow, that was said beautifully. And a lot of people, that's a great point. You know, being led. Back to your first point, getting as much information as possible.
Right.
So I think that kind of goes back to what we were saying before. Understand the situation. Understand why this father may have responded the way that he did. Why he left. Understand their thought process and their circumstances. And I think with that understanding, we'll be able to have more compassion for that person, your father. You'll have more compassion for them and why they made the choices that they made. Not necessarily saying that it was right, you know, because most of the time it's not right, you know.
I mean, I will say this too, because when I was 16, you know, and meeting him at that point in my life, he had a life. You know, he had a wife, he had a daughter, which is my sister. He had her and 2 children that he married into. You know, a very accomplished man. You know, as well. You know, he done a lot. Played professional football.
Oh wow.
You know, worked for the Atlanta Braves actually, and actually ran a prison.
Wow.
It's like a lot that he had going on in his life. So, you know, like if I had my way, or my way to move with that understanding, it would be like, hey, I know you got a lot going on, and not suppressing or negating that. I'm wanting some clarity too, but considering, you know, that you do have something going on, I move a little bit lighter. Like, are you willing to, you know? And of course, going in with, I don't try to set too many expectations, but going in and say, hey, are you willing? You know, because I've just gotten this information, you know, and I really would like to know, you know, go in depth on it. So I see how it matters to me. Because there's the thing I even want to talk to them about, like, you know, even health-wise. Like, hey, what are you dealing with health-wise? Because that can affect me and my family. You know what I mean? Just certain conversations like that I would like to have. But, you know, I would definitely give my understanding that you have a life before I come into it. And if you would allow me into it, however you feel, you know, we can baby step it. You know, I'm willing to baby step it, and we can move forward, however you see fit.
Now, I just want to add a different perspective to that, because I'm thinking if you're a 16-year-old kid, like, you don't understand that. You don't understand that I've got to consider this person's life now. You know, that okay, I'm stepping into their life. I may disrupt their life, their picture perfect life that they have going on, because I want to know who you are. And so I think, and so when we're talking about, I'll just say this, just my suggestion, or because I've dealt with this as well. I didn't meet my father for the first time, but there was a 10-year period, actually over 10 years, that my father was not in my life. And so I know, as a 17-year-old girl, calling up my father, I wasn't thinking about what he may have going on, and I don't want to disrupt it, and that, because you're so wrapped up in your emotions and just wanting to know where you come from. So I would say that initial first suggestion of understanding and knowing everything that's going on, I think that's beneficial as an adult if you're trying to reach out to your father for the first time, and maybe what it looks like as a kid, as a teenager, you having an adult to be sort of that facilitator for you
Right,
to,
that facilitator.
yeah,
Right.
figure out.
I think that's where I was coming from.
Yeah.
Yeah, to clarify. Yeah, they can articulate. You know,
Exactly.
if there is anybody that is dealing with face-to-face, paternity issues or anything, just be a mediator. And if you're going to be the mediator or the medium in this space, find out as much information before you drop a bomb in somebody's world.
Yeah, how you should best move, what the
Right,
next
how you
move
should
should
move.
be. Yeah, for sure. That was great. Thank you for sharing that, because I believe that will help a lot of people. Because let's keep it 100, y'all. Let's keep it 1,000. That's a thing in our communities.
Thing.
It's a thing. It's very prevalent.
It's not the thing.
Exactly. It is the thing. And so us being able to know how to manage that and know how to have these kind of conversations around that, and knowing the tools, developing the tools, or acquiring the tools and the skills to know how to manage that and approach that, I think is super important. I think it's a very necessary conversation to have. So again, thank you for sharing that with us. Thank you for your insight. All right, so my last couple of questions for you. I know you had no interest in becoming a barber, because I think at one point you told me you didn't even want to follow in your mom's footsteps. So now, fast forward, you find yourself a celebrity barber. And what is one instance that you can share with us where you inspired and encouraged someone in your chair, and they took action, and they were like, you really helped me?
Okay. Well, I'll start off by saying, which goes back to your earlier point, dealing with the energies and chakras and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
I've always just believed in, having a good energy. Not always, excuse me. I started to believe at a certain point in my career that having a good energy and having a positive mindset, and not carrying what you're dealing with on your shoulders and passing it on to other people. I started to take that on at a certain point in my career, and I feel like that was necessary due to the fact that I did learn that people were actually listening to the information and my advice. Because as you stated, we are counselors. We're licensed barbers and cosmetologists, but we are counselors.
Yes.
We are fashion consultants.
Yes.
It's a plethora of things that we end up being, because there's a lot of people who don't go and choose, like therapy and whatnot is a thing in our community that we don't choose to visit as often as we should. Counseling, therapy, anything that deals with being vulnerable,
Right.
we tend to run away from.
Correct.
Especially telling someone your deep, dark secrets, or even the things that actually hurt you.
True.
So people bring those things to you, and I was at a point in my career before I started to think in this manner that I wasn't considering this, and I would give out bad information, and when people would come back and tell me, hey, I listened to you, and that was terrible. And I was like, oh, you listened to that? Oh, my God. I was just trying to get a good laugh out of it.
You realized you had some responsibility.
Right. I didn't know that people needed me in that way. I did not know that I was a necessity other than making you look good. Or changing you physically, your outward appearance, versus, actually imparting or pouring into your internal.
Right.
And it was like, once I heard the person that came back to me, they were actually dealing with a divorce at the time. And I gave them terrible information.
Wow.
It sounded funny at the time. And I was like, okay, at that point when they came back and told me that they, acted out on that information, I said, yeah, you got to stop.
Wow.
You have to stop that immediately. So, then began my journey to not start doing better, but to stop doing bad. You
Yeah.
know, I think that's part of the process we have to understand too. Like you can make a decision because you're not gonna actually just start doing the best that you can the very next day. Just first make a decision to stop doing bad. You know, you can say at least I didn't do that. I didn't do that today. I might not have did something better, but I didn't do that. You know what I mean? And that's just my philosophy.
I
So
love it.
then then I started to get to a point where I started to embrace that idea and that thought process. And there have been many situations where I've inspired people and they've acted on it, and it's a beautiful thing. All the way down to inspiring people to, hey, I've inspired someone. Hey, have you ever thought about school? Maybe you should go attend school. I'm a believer and adamant on asking people, what is your passion? Like, what moves you? And then I start pouring into a passion. I start pouring into something that is significant. You hear a lot of things. Some of the things you wouldn't expect to hear from people.
Yeah.
That's interesting to me. Like, man, I actually want to be an artist. Like, really? I never knew this.
Wow.
I never knew that you wanted to be an artist. But even with that, the new movie Soul. Have you seen that movie?
I have not. I heard it was great.
Oh, yeah, it was good. They actually did a scene, a barbershop scene, that I resonated with. And, me being a barber, cosmetologist, anytime anybody does a rendition of a barbershop set, you kind of you really turn on your antennas and you open your eyes.
Right.
Like, what they're gonna do it here, and you ready to say, oh man, that ain't how it goes. That is not how it is. But in the movie Soul, they actually depicted a space where a barber client space where they were sharing dreams, aspirations with one another and getting an understanding. And you saw where people had different passions or different directions that they actually may want to go. And you can help people build on that and expound on that.
Yeah. We are definitely counselors for sure. Well, I cannot believe that we have come to the end of our 1 hour segment, family. This was such a great, insightful conversation. As we end, thank you so much again, Donato, for coming in and sharing your story with us and inspiring people and giving people solid and practical tools. So thank you so much for that. You are full of knowledge and wisdom and great energy, and I appreciate that. And tell people where they can find you.
Yes, ma'am. I appreciate you, Will. And where people can find me is IG, the Donato Smith, TheDonato Smith, the Donato Smith. And I have a few things that will be coming out. I've launched a brim company, Eon Brims. I'm working on my own television show.
Woo!
I can't disclose the name of that right now.
Okay.
But especially in the barber realm, I'm doing classes. I'm teaching more classes. Teaching more this year. That's my goals. Just more so than anything, doing things a whole lot differently. So just be on the lookout. You can start with that The Donato Smith, and all trails will lead back to The Donato Smith.
Love it, love it, love it. All right, family, you heard it here. Make sure you follow the Donato Smith. Thank you again. Love the conversation. Love your energy. I appreciate you. Family, we will see y'all next week. Same time, same place. Back for Healing for the Culture with yours truly. Up next, you have Miss LaCora Monet with Marvelous Minds. Y'all keep it locked. Peace and abundance, family. Love y'all.
Blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. You got that juice.